Welcome to the Dove's Inner Beauty Podcast, where we foster emotional awareness one individual at a time. Leading the way is Demetria Nickens, a certified mental health first aid instructor and trauma recovery coach with over 2 decades of experience in fostering emotional awareness in others by engaging their mental health.
Discover practical, everyday self-care methods to manage trauma in our insightful interview with a mental health expert. Welcome back, everyone. This is Garfield Bowen, co-host / producer, back in the studio with Demetria Nickens. Demetria, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good.
Listen, so what are some daily methods of self-care to manage trauma?
So, honestly, when you think about self-care, I think people don't think about it. They only think about, oh, I'm going to go get my hair done. I'm getting my nails done. I'm just going to relax, right? They think about just this idea of relaxation. However, I think when you think about self-care for trauma, you have to think about the all 8 dimensions of wellness. So SAMHSA, the Substance Abuse Mental Health organization, right? They came up with this idea of the 8 dimensions of wellness. And it's really a holistic way to think about it, right? So your finances, your environmental, your emotional, your physical, your organizational, intellectual, right? All of these 8 dimensions of wellness, right? And thinking about them, all of them, right? And so when you think about self-care for trauma, it's important to genuinely consider, well, what do I do for my physical health? Okay, great. I go exercise, but what do you do in terms of what motivates you to go do something for your physical health too, right? So not just think about the thing that you do, but also think about, well, what is the motivation behind it, right? Because with trauma, it's something that may be stopping you from going to do that thing, right? Is it something trauma related? So when you think about emotionally, right? I'm trying to take care of my emotional well-being. Great. Are you journaling? Are you doing something such as thinking about how you react to emotions, right? How if you're angry, do you throw things, you curse, right? How do you really think through what that looks like for your life? And have you ever just stopped and thought about it? So when I think about self-care, it is not just the things that you're physically doing, but how you sit with who you are as an individual and how you're making those decisions. And through all of your 8 dimensions, right? So whether that's your money, your finances, that financial piece of self-care, do you take care of those finances in your house? And, what is it that you're doing that's, what are you spending your money on, right? How are those decisions impacting you? So when you think about trauma impacts all things, right? And so it's important to recognize that and to be able to say, okay, well, what do I do for all of these 8 dimensions, and not just my emotional health, but every dimension of health that you can think of to foster goodness and happiness and wellness within you.
This is some deep stuff here.
Yeah, take care. They can get deep.
Wow. What about those with busy schedules that just are overwhelmed? What do they do?
I would say that they should think about, is this busyness a part of your trauma? Do you stay busy in order to not consider your reactions to things, to not think about your emotions, to avoid sitting with yourself, right? Is this busyness a part of the trauma that you don't even recognize, right? If you stay busy, you don't have time to think about yourself. You don't have time to think about the negative things that have happened in your past, right? So I would argue that maybe even the busyness itself could be part of the problem, right? And that you have to stop and evaluate that. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And so if you keep yourself busy 24/7, are you really helping or doing what you so busy doing? Are you really helping people? Are you just continuing to pour from an empty cup where you're really not pouring into anyone else. You're just continuously staying busy just to be busy. So I would question the busyness actually with someone like that, right? Really thinking about, well, why do you stay busy all the time? Why don't you take time for yourself, right? What is it that's, like, what is it? Is it money? Or what's the motivation behind the money, right? What is that? Where did that come from, right? I'm about pulling the thread, right? It's like one of my favorite phrases, pulling the thread on the why for people so that they really can take care of who they are.
I'm from the business world, so we use the phrase "getting your head right," and I don't know if it aligns with this, but is there like and many people looking for quick fixes? Is there any nutrition and yoga, prayer, or just something we can do that can kind of set us in the right direction?
I think it's not necessarily, I think quick fix is, when you're thinking about trauma, unfortunately, trauma isn't a quick fix. However, I will say that I think it starts with understanding you and being able to sit with yourself, right? If you can start to sit with yourself, then you're headed in the right direction. A lot of people can't sit with themselves because of for whatever reason. And so this is why a trauma coach is necessary, right? This ability to say, this person that's willing to sit beside you because they've been there, to sit with you in that, in some of that when that gets hard, even if that's 20 minutes in a day, once a week. To say, hey, sit with yourself for a few minutes. And what does that feel like? If that's just breathing, does that breathing make you cry? There's something there. So to me, I wouldn't say trauma is never going to, unfortunately, there's no quick fixes in trauma. However, I think there are ways to bite at it in short snippets, and then it gets you to where you eventually really want to be.
Once again, you got some good stuff here. Love it. Demetria, you have a wonderful rest of the day. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dove's Inner Beauty Podcast, where we foster emotional awareness one individual at a time. For a complimentary consultation, visit dovesinnerbeauty.com or reach out to us via email at innerbeauty@dovesinnerbeauty.com.